court is supposed to be a daily programme. Yeah, that's right. But they've been a little bit naughty. Nighttime off the courts. And tonight is a very special occasion because we've been allowed into the inner sanctum. I did ask to go into the bedrooms. That was not allowed. Jess Thirlby, Jo Harten, Pamela Cookey are here. Why aren't we in your bedrooms?
You don't want to be in my bedroom. Nobody needs to be there.
It's a bit quieter than this. We're with your friends and family. As I say, is this all your friends and family, or is this every team together?
I've got no idea what's going on down here. I just stay upstairs out the way. But it's carnage down here, isn't it? I'm coming out in hives, I think. It's too many people for me.
It's United Nations. We got Tonga, we got Scotland, we got England. Everyone's here. It's a little bit of an after party.
Well, I expected it to be a bit more, tense, that you wouldn't share all these same environments with everyone.
Wait till you get to the breakfast bar in the morning. There's like elbows flying left, right and centre. That's my toast, that's my butter. It goes off in the morning.
Well, that's what time we won't be here for. Don't worry. How is it? How are you enjoying it? Are you only here because now you get to not share a room?
Yeah, that was the first question I asked when I got the role. Do I get my own room on tour? The answer, of course, is yes. But no, in all seriousness, I'm loving it. I'm so grateful to be here. Having retired, obviously, from the game 3 or 4 months ago. Yeah, I can't quite believe I'm sat in this chair right now, trying to have an impact on our Roses campaign to win the World Cup.
Oh, well, I'm glad to see you sitting down because it was the Malawi match we looked across. There's Jo. What was that face for?
But we've been hearing, though, that, yeah, you're in the coaching setup, but you've really been practicing and playing with the players on the court.
Well, I think I can't sit down in any normal game, and we have been working on trying to control what only we can control. And that is a work on for me, because obviously I'm not having an impact on the court anymore. So I do get a little bit twitchy from time to time. But ultimately, I have been really good at sitting on my hands and trying to just tone it down a little bit.
So you've got to work on that coach's face.
No, Jo's got a great game face. In fact, I have to check most days if she's okay. Like, she's quite hard to read. I'm like, are you all right? I'm all right. Are you all right? Yeah, good. And then we just move on.
You'll perfect it to just a little look, won't you? Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's got a good game face, but she can also, Jo's got great intuition and a knowledge of this team to know when the atmosphere just needs breaking. So she's a great welcome addition to the coaching team.
I know there's lots of pride for both of you actually over here, isn't there?
Oh, no, really lovely to see like what you guys are trying to do and what you are doing. And Joey, playing with you was awesome. But to see that you're not having an impact on the shooters coming through, just what role have you given her exactly? Because you're both goal attack goal shooters.
The role I thought I'd given her versus the one I've seen the last few weeks. No. I think fortunately I was over in Australia not long after Jo had announced her retirement. So it just allowed us to get a few coffees really. And I kind of moved the conversation on quite quickly once I'd realised if she was okay. And we kind of just chewed the fat a little bit around, so what next? I'm really respectful that for Jo and World Netball, we want Jo to keep playing. So I think, your aspirations are to still put out a couple of seasons domestically, and we're fully supportive of that. I think the world needs Jo Harten on a court, and so we definitely want to see her do that. But I think from an England point of view, I've worked with Jo since she debuted really at underage and through 21s and a little bit through that senior, and it just is a no-brainer for me to kind of keep Jo and the likes of Serena, and there'll be others hopefully. If you're open-minded enough, I always think that that's when the magic can happen. So I think it's normally around that clarity of role, yet ironically allowing a bit of flex in that space. I think we've got a really a moment in time to engage Serena and Jo because of their knowledge of the team, not simply because of their knowledge. And I think that will only last for a short period. And so we're trying to really capitalise on that. Jo knows these players inside out. She's been on the journey with us right up until this point. So why wouldn't we keep hold of that rather than say goodbye too soon? It's just welcoming her back in a different role. And those lines most probably are still a bit blurred, but that's okay, because that's actually where the strength is right now. Different to the role that I can play, or Sonia or Liana. I think we've got a great spectrum now of world-class former players, some of whom have moved into coaching, but I think we can also be clumsy with that at times in sport. And Serena's role is very different. It's not actually coaching per se as people would understand it. You know, it's not on a netball court coaching the tech-tac work. I've always been really open-minded. I'd work best around others. I prefer to collaborate with people, but I also understand my role is 100% to lead. But I think leading is this. I think leading is knowing, getting the right people and knowing how to use them. So 100% it's on me, you know, like, but it's great to be able to be so open and have the likes of Jo, Liana, Sonia, and there have been others along the way, for Serena to jump on board and to stay on board and to impact in the way that she is. I don't think people understand her skill set. And I think her ability to understand environments, culture and leadership is something that's just helped to nudge us in the right direction. We were already in a good place. I think so many people have gone before and the environment and culture is already awesome. But every time you get a new generation of players, it's making sure it fits that team and that group of people. And I think, yeah, I guess I've learned over time and in other environments, you get the right people and brilliant things can happen. And I will always remain open-minded, but I'm also not shirking any responsibility. I want these guys. They know things I don't. They'll check and challenge me. And I think that diversity of thinking and that cognitive difference is actually something any environment should be seeking, not avoiding. And I'd like to think that's what these guys feel really included. And Jo's had complete permission to influence and interact.
Joey, have there been times where you've been like, Jess, nah, this ain't going to work. We need to be
Time
doing
we asked
this.
for a meeting.
Yeah. Are the meeting's still going on for hours?
Yeah, I mean, we have a few meetings every day. But in all honesty, like I'm still in shock with how much trust Jess has, I guess, given me and how much room to move on this journey that I've been afforded. Like coming into this space and this role, like the last time I was in Cape Town in this hotel I was a player back in January. So to come back so soon in a different capacity, I was a bit unsure of how that was going to look, and I'm sure Jess was as well. But you know, from day one in training camp in Stellenbosch, it was, you know, you are allowed to speak freely. We want a different opinion, or we want, you know, the same opinion, which it is most of the time. And it's just that, I guess, the player impact on that, I have a bit more of an insight in because I was a player for England 6 months ago. So it's quite a beautiful space to be in, actually. I feel so lucky. I mean, I've got the best of both worlds. I'm still in the players' coffee crew. I haven't fully transitioned.
That's true, because rarely, she did get me one coffee this morning, but it's been rare. So she is still truly in the player coffee group.
Is there a separate WhatsApp group as well?
It's separate everything, separate kitty, although Jess does get a card out sometimes. So if you go with her, you're more likely to get a free coffee.
Yeah, Jess is good at that. Fair joke.
Seeing you all chatting now with your family around us too, it just feels very relaxed. It doesn't feel, I don't know what I expect of a World Cup. You know, you think like everyone tension, analysis the whole time, very serious. But yeah. This is why you're not sharing room. She's under the cover with the light at night doing the analysis.
She does her homework better than me, I'm not going to lie.
I believe it, as long as you mark it correctly. But is that important from your point of view? What are you bringing to that kind of that culture?
Yeah, I think it's a check and challenge every day. With 8 games in 10 days, you know, you have to have a level of professionalism and you have to have a level of, you know, we just got to get through some of the tougher times. And, you know, that would be for the staff and the playing group. You know, you're physically tired. You know, for staff, we are analysing every move that every other, you know, team makes because we want to do the best for our girls. But I think if you don't find the fun, you know, for at least half an hour every day, what's the point of being here? And it's the same for me when I was a player. Like, you get a gold medal or bronze medal, whatever, but it's the journey the stuff that you really remember.
Where's the fun then? Because we were talking to one of the Australian players today about a time when Serena was wrapped in cling film
and sent down in the lift.
Sent down in the lift.
Yeah, well, I was sent down to the Jamaicans as well, so.
In cling film?
In a rug.
Has that happened yet?
No, we were actually reminiscing the other day on the bus that was probably mine and Serena's era, you know, having that bit of banter with the girls. But I think we've got quite a few staff on this campaign, and there's been a bit of a rivalry in warm-up games. The players think they're all that when it comes to a game called Netball, which is a game I introduced to this group. So they like to let us know.
I'm very proud of that, Jo.
Yeah, it's the coach's legacy.
We've been very self-sacrificing though, because we've let the players win every time. but our performances are getting better. So we just have to take that on, and we know we're doing right by the team.
And yet there are more of you than there are players.
No, that's not true now. It may have been true a few weeks ago, but yeah, it's not true now. But it is quite funny watching Jo, because that is where you realise that she can't quite let go of the whole competitor thing, and seeing her kind of on the opposing team to Helen, and her disgust at us as staff on the very first point we lose. It hits hard, but it galvanises us. She's got the best out of us. We are improving.
Have you been taking them through their paces, like training them up for like the next time?
Pam, we're talking like team talks, like serious hands-in huddles before
I'm on
every
that
game.
as well. I'm on that.
If they're not listening, focus in, please.
No, exactly the coach she is. Exactly
And then
the
it's just the
coach.
way she looks down at you.
It's the height. Yeah. Well, speaking of which, we're going to let you go. Before we do, there's a coach's initiation too, isn't it? You know why we brought these chairs out? For the key change. So which song are we going for?
Has to be Atomic Kitten Whole again, doesn't it?
Take it away for the end of Off the Court Daily with Atomic Kitten Whole Again, Jo Harten and Jess Thirlby. It's not like you've got an audience.
Looking back on when we first met, I cannot escape and I cannot forget. Baby, you're the one. You still turn me on.
Change.
You can make me whole again.
Whoa, whoa, oh, she's still going.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.